Most agents dread the price reduction conversation, and it doesn't have to feel like that. It doesn't have to be awkward, and it doesn't have to end with a frustrated seller who blames you. When you walk in with the right tool and the right framing, it becomes one of the most straightforward conversations you can have. That tool is the seller net sheet. This is a great tool to utilize amongst several others, and today I'm going to show you exactly how to use it. Quick note, if this is your first video here, make sure you subscribe. I put out real actionable content for real estate agents every single week, 2 videos a week. And if you want to go deeper on listing strategy, my calendar is in the description below. Book a call, we do one-on-one sessions, and we can build your business and have you feel so confident in every single conversation that you walk into. Most agents dread the price reduction conversation for one reason. They don't have a strategy. They show up with market data and they say, the market's telling us the price needs to come down. And the seller gets defensive. Because if you came up with this pricing strategy together, they look at you as being responsible as to why their expectations were false. Because without the right framing, a price reduction sounds like it's criticism. It sounds like you didn't do your job, and it sounds like the home isn't good enough, and obviously it's eating into their pockets. But the seller net sheet can change all of that, and it takes the emotion out of the conversation and it replaces it with math and numbers. And math is very hard to argue with. So a seller net sheet is a simple document that shows the seller exactly what they're going to walk away with after commissions, after closing costs, and any other fees and HOA costs at different price points. Most sellers are focused on the list price, but the net sheet shifts the focus to what they actually care about, which is the money that they put in their pocket or the money that they're gonna have to pay taxes on. When a seller can see the difference between list prices as to what their actual bottom line dollar is gonna be, the decision becomes a lot easier. You're not asking them to give up value, you're showing them a smarter path to the same destination. So you're gonna lead with the market activity and not opinion, of course. So before you ever even show the net sheet or the estimated proceeds, lead with the data. This isn't going to be your opinion. It's going to be raw data of the comparable sales that have sold in the last 30 to 45 days, or go back 90 days and show what sold and what hasn't, and at what price points, and show how many days those homes were on the market before they accepted an offer, and show the list price to the sales price ratio in the area. And let that market data make the argument for you. Your job is just to present the data clearly and let it speak for itself. I can't tell you how many times I showed up the comparable sales and then they started talking about the numbers and looked at the pictures of each property, and they realized that their home was overpriced and they were willing to talk themselves down on the price, and I didn't even say a word. So when sellers see that every home priced above a certain threshold in their area has been sitting, and every home that priced below it has sold in 2 weeks, the conversation's no longer about asking for a price reduction. It's about them responding to the real market signals. And once you've moved through the market data, you can pull up the net sheet and you can actually show different scenarios if you feel the need to. You can show them at the current list price of what their net sheet was gonna be. You could show 3 different scenarios if you wanted to. You could start with where they're at now of their current list price and show what the reduction to the market value would look like. And then you could do a price slightly below market value that would create urgency so they can see those different scenarios. And for each of the scenarios, you can show the estimated proceeds, show the projected days on market, and what happens to their carrying cost. Because you've got to bring up, the longer we stay on the market, you have mortgage, you have taxes, utilities, and also the liability of the home itself. So for every additional month the home sits, you're having expenses go out that are eating into your profits as well. So there is a cost to waiting on this price improvement. And when you do that, now the seller isn't looking at the price, they're looking at the outcome, and the outcomes are what actually matter to them because that's their dollar amount, their net take home from the sale of the home. And then this is the most important piece. At the end of the data conversation, you want to bring it back to why they're selling in the first place. Say, hey, look, I know we've covered a lot of numbers, but the reason I'm walking you through all of this is because your goal was to move by April. And this price reduction is the path that will actually get you there, but staying at the current price will risk all of that. And when sellers remember why they're selling and the emotional attachment to a specific list price, it'll start to lessen. They'll get over that because they had it so hung up on their mind that they were going to get this certain price. But once you remind them and you show them the market data, and then you bring it back to why they're here in the first place, having their house on the market, this will help overcome that objection of not wanting to do the price improvement. And you're going to connect every single recommendation you move back to the original goal to keep the goal top of mind as well. And that's what will close the conversation. Sometimes there's situations where you have to make multiple price improvements. So you might be saying, well, I've already reduced once, we're not going to be able to do it again. And here's your response. You say, look, I completely understand your frustration with the market, and I respect that you already made a move and you did make the price improvement, but I want to make sure is that this next decision is based on where the market actually is right now, not where it was when we first listed. And the data has continued to speak, and I just want to make sure that we're responding to it to ensure that we get your home sold so you can be off to your next place in April. And then pull up the net sheet again. You provide the numbers to make the case so you don't have to, and so that they can see it and swallow that new price improvement of what that's going to do to affect their net proceeds. So price reductions aren't failure. They're just market corrections that you have to ride and rock with. And when you walk into that conversation with a net sheet and clear data and that connection to their goal that you learned in the very beginning of working with them, these aren't scary conversations. They're actually productive ones that are going to get you to the end sale and get their home sold for them. And they're going to be so grateful. So you got to lead with the data, show the net, connect to the goal, the reason why you're there, and that's the play. And if you want to build out your full listing conversation and conversion strategy from pricing to price reductions, let's connect. Book a call at my calendar link below, or find me on Instagram at PK Residential and send me a message letting me know you watched this video.